Hey, how about it? Hold on, here we go. Hey guys, Tom Mabe. Welcome to Sober Talk. I am minus a co-host. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of concerned. He's usually here a half hour early. He's not answering his phone. He may be dead. I just don't know. I texted him. I called him. I Facebooked his wife. And anyway, Jamie, if you're out there, I hope you're okay. I'm like one step away from calling the hospitals. I'm really, really concerned. So anyway, that's going to be great. We have a special guest. I'm calling, and today's show is about. I've met a lot of people who have lost it all to drugs and alcohol, and let me just check and make sure. Let me make sure that I am live because usually when Jamie's here, I can tell. So give me 1 second, guys, and I give you a chance to tune in, and I can stand up straight, and maybe I get a haircut too. So let's see. Hold 1 second here. So we are checking to see if I'm indeed live. Well, maybe not. Yes, I'm live. Let me see if it's playing. So anyway, so I was saying, I quit drinking again about a month and a half ago with the COVID. I lost all my gigs. I've lost I have rental properties. I've lost a lot of rentals. I mean, I wasn't having to sell the farm or anything like that, but boy, was I really, really, just going stir crazy being home. And I lost a lot of money. And any excuses, to, I'll just have one beer. Then one beer turned into two beers, and the two beers turned into a 12-pack a day. And I'm like, I've tried it on my own so many times. I've gone very public about my drinking and alcoholism, thinking that my fans fans and friends, family would hold me accountable if they saw me going public. And a buddy of mine who's in the program said, "Man, you've done it on your own, several times now, and how's that worked out for you?" And I'm like, it hasn't. And so I came to the realization that I am powerless to alcohol, and it kind of trumps anything in my life, my family, my friends, my business. And when I fall off the wagon, I fall off big. And so now I am working the steps. I admitted I'm powerless to alcohol, and I've found my higher power, which is both the God and the universe. And if you saw the first episode, you heard my story about the rooster that I claim to be my higher power as a joke, and then go back and watch it. It's a good one. So I'm going to get on the phone here in a second, a guy named Ted. And after we do these shows, we get a lot of emails from people saying, "Hey man, this show really touched close to home because I've lost it all. I'm about ready to lose it all. I work construction. I went in, I did something really bad. I got fired." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I've been there." So this show is helping me stay sober, helping Jamie stay sober, and it's part of giving back. And it helps us more than it helps you guys. But we do have a lot of people tuning in. I think the first show got like 14,000 people who watched the full episode. Second show, I think we're like last night, like 10,000 episode. 10,000 people watched, and it's not the typical video that I do that will get millions of views, but I don't care. This is not about views. It's about helping people out, helping me out. So let's see if we can get on the phone, get Mr. Ted on the phone. There's 93 people watching. Let's see if I can get to that number and give him a call. And hold on 1 second. Josh is calling me. Let's see. Josh is going to tell me something that maybe he's watching if something's weird. Josh is my son, by the way. Maybe he's telling me that something is
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Josh, I am live. You are live. Is everything okay?
Yep, Bree escaped.
Did you get her?
Yep, we got her. She went out the back.
Okay. Does she appear to be drunk when she got out the back? Brianna is our dog. Josh, has she been drinking?
No, she has though sometimes.
I better go. I got to call this guy. I love you, buddy.
I love you.
All right, bye-bye. So that just happened. We have 5 dogs because we're lunatics. So let me and Bree escape. So let's call. Let's see if we can get Ted on the phone here. And Ted's going to be my official co-host today.
Good evening, Tom. How are you?
Hey Ted, how are you, brother?
I'm fine. Can you hear me okay
I
on this line?
Yeah, it sounds great. And look, Jamie did not make it into the studio, and I'm a tad concerned. He just bought a new fancy car that's really fast, and I'm thinking maybe I just don't know. So you're my official
Ab-
co-host today. It's going to be the Tom and Ted Alcohol Hour. So,
well, hey, that it won't be a problem at all. Happy to help any way I can, and hell, if we screw it up,
oh, you
that's
can't screw
one
this
thing.
up. There's no way you can screw
Well,
this up, buddy. So
well, we can, and but that's one thing that we are good at screwing things up, and so we're used to it. So let's screw something up.
So tell me, let's start. You emailed me and said, hey, you watched the show and you got a lot out of it, and you told me briefly about your story, and it was I was like, man, you gotta tell our viewers your story, and you were a tad hesitant, but you reached out to your sponsor, I guess, or someone, and said, hey, would it be okay?
Yes.
And so give me a background. Tell me, start from the beginning.
Sure. And of course, I'll try and be brief as well.
I'll take your time, brother. Take your time.
Sure, and try and stay on train of thought. But yeah, so I'm 52. I live down here in Katy, Texas, right outside of Houston.
Okay.
I live in beautiful suburb, beautiful wife. 26 years married,
Oh,
three
I'll be
wonderful
married
kids.
26 years, September 10th, but go ahead.
Well, and ironic how God works and how things like this happen in your life or whatever. But today is my 26th anniversary, as a matter of fact. So
Today, well,
it's
congratulations, or
well, absolutely no, it's a wonderful day,
okay,
but it could sure be better, and we'll talk about that.
okay.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm a college grad. My parents put me through school, so didn't have a bad childhood or anything like that. But
No
uh,
abandonment, no trauma growing up or anything.
well, divorced parents, and so
Okay.
dad moved out. So obviously that there's something there, and I'm aware of
How
that.
how
But
how old were you when your father moved out?
so I would have been probably like fifth grade, however old that
Oh,
is.
sure.
Uh,
Okay.
Somewhere 8 to 10 years old, somewhere in there. And yeah, and it definitely, no doubt, it affected me and it hurt me at the time, but didn't realize what it did, the way it may have affected me.
I see. Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
my first drink was literally at somewhere around the age of 11 or 12.
What?
Just tried it.
Okay? Your first drink was around age 11 or 12. Do you recall
Yeah.
how old you were when you first got drunk?
Uh, yeah, pretty much the first. The first taste of alcohol, of course, would be as you get a beer for your father and you bring him the beer and you take the foam off the top and you take a sip, and that's all kind of in fun or whatever. But the first time that I actually had alcohol to myself to go ahead and take more than my a few sips and have what I want. I absolutely, there's a funny story there, but yeah, I absolutely couldn't get the lawnmower started at the age of 12, and drank tequila. And my mom came home, found me passed out, had thrown up all over the floor, and passed out.
At
And
age
uh,
12, you were
yep.
drunk on tequila, almost cut your foot off with a lawnmower, possibly, and your mom
Well, I
found.
couldn't get it. I
Oh,
couldn't get
there
it
you go.
started,
Good. Yeah.
and it was very, very frustrating to me as a kid. And for whatever reason, I didn't even know that it was a coping mechanism for me, but maybe I learned it from someone else. But I had
So
no
you
idea what it would
you
do
were
to me, but
you
it
were
worked.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting so much, but at age 12, you were self-medicating due to the divorce.
Oh, I
Maybe.
sure wouldn't. Well, there's probably something there, but I sure wouldn't say that.
But
I wouldn't
why
even
else
know.
would a 12-year-old drink tequila?
Well, the very first time was just I have no idea other than I just did, and but and as horrible of an experience as it was, man, there was a certain point in there where it felt really good. Even at the age of 12, I knew that I had discovered something, and it's kind of sad, but I found it early. And
Yeah,
one thing that I've found, and I've been in recovery now, kind of actively for I'd say at least 10 years. I've been an alcoholic, and I'm 52 now, so I've been battling it for 30 years. But for 10 years, I've actually been kind of in the program and doing my best to try and get sober.
So people who are just tuning in, this is Ted. He's 52. He's from Texas. Your first time you remember getting drunk was when you were age 12 on tequila. Okay, just want
Yeah,
to bring people. I can see people joining in on my phone right here, so I just want to make sure that
sure.
they know
And
what's going on.
one important, and one important thing about AA and the fellowship is that you find out that all these other people that are in there are just like us. So I know you didn't start drinking until you said 19.
I didn't cut the
But
grass till I was 19, Ted. Come on.
exactly,
You were kind
exactly.
I'm impressed
But
that you
most
were a hoser and you were cutting grass. I'm sorry. I use humor to deal with a lot of this crap, but go ahead.
Well, and you can probably attest. Sometimes we use humor, and it just might keep us from crying
Yeah,
when we're in a
that's
bad
true.
place.
That's true.
So yeah, I'm all about humor.
Hey,
Um,
Suzanne Young just said you do not have to have actual abandonment or trauma to become an alcoholic. I just know that trauma and abandonment is a big. We see a lot of that in patterns from what I'm reading. Is that it's but thanks for the comment, Suzanne Young. Go ahead.
yeah, I agree. If you ask 9 out of 10 alcoholics that understand the disease, you're going to find something exactly like that. And that's what I was going to say. We share so many common traits, and what I found, one of the common traits is that people that are like me, that are full blown alcoholics and drug addicts, that many of them actually did start at age 12, 13, and 14. I had no idea that. I thought that was just me, but
Wow.
it's actually very, very common, and I bet it's even more common with the way youth are today, right?
I don't know. I mean, I have a son that's 21 and a daughter who's 17. I didn't have my first drink till I was 19, but I knew on my first drink, hey, Daddy's home. I like this. I remember
Right.
feeling it. So keep on and let's
So,
get,
so sure.
yeah, and I want to know about your rock bottom. Do you recall your rock bottom?
Yes. So just real quick,
Sure.
I'll let you know. So anyway, I all through high school, I was a swimmer, and I swam in college. It's where I met my wife, and I was alcoholic all through then. Knew I had a problem even then. I just enjoyed. I was the life of the party, and really enjoyed drinking. I was a nice drunk, not never a mean fighting drunk, and asked my wife to marry me. Obviously, 26 years ago, we followed through with that and got married.
No, were you
And
20? I guess you were 22, 21, 22 when you guys got married?
yes, yes, sir, yes, sir. And I got a DWI before I got married, and I knew that I had a problem, and I knew that I had to. That no way I would be able to stay married and drink the way I like to drink, like you described. Just a 12 pack a night, nothing crazy, right?
Right.
Just a 12 pack.
Just a
And
12
so
pack. Yeah.
even with all my great wisdom, I was even smart enough to know that my marriage wouldn't work. So I actually just gave it up after years of daily drinking.
Oh, you did.
Actually,
You didn't
yeah.
give up the
So
marriage. You gave up the drinking.
yeah, no, and I did. I gave up alcohol cold turkey, and actually he was just going to do it for a day, and that was good, and I did it for anyway. So I did that for 25 years with not one single drop of alcohol. The problem is when you switch, if you quit for when we try and quit our drug on our own without having a program and a support mechanism, we just switched. And so for me, it was real easy then just to switch to marijuana. So that
Mm.
that is my actual drug of choice. So
Yeah.
like I said, I was
What's the old
25
saying?
years.
Man made booze, God made grass. Who do you trust? But you could, I
There
guess,
you go.
a lot of people used to think that way. And you know what?
So
I'm a little more forgiving to marijuana than I am alcohol. I don't do neither, but
well, and of course that's what I would like to think,
mhm.
and honestly, I can say for me, it definitely is better. I would have already been dead from alcohol, but anyway, to keep going along, after 25 years and trying to quit smoking pot and it causing problems with my wife, who we never had an argument about anything other than me and smoking pot. Um, it got so bad that at one point I quit smoking pot, and then here comes the alcohol. So I had a little alcohol going on behind everybody's back. That landed me into a rehab. I went there for my first rehab.
And
Did
how
that.
old were you in your first rehab?
Sure. So that would have been just something like maybe 8 years ago. So I would have been in my 40s. I'm 52 now. So let's say I was.
Have you done more than one rehab?
Yes. So I went to that rehab and got clean for 30 days inpatient,
Hmm.
got out, and was extremely happy and followed the program and stayed sober. And I don't know exactly how long, but let's just say it was a year. And then went back to smoking marijuana, but didn't touch alcohol. All of the problems came back with the family and all of those things, and all of my problems came back. And then eventually alcohol came back again, just about a year ago, and well, actually, a few years ago, and found myself then wanting to go to treatment, and went to another recovery center for 30 days inpatient treatment, and 3 days into it, insurance basically says that if you're just addicted to pot, you don't need to be inpatient, which I understand. It's true. I wasn't going to die, but
Okay.
I did not want to leave there. But
Well,
anyway,
Ted,
I had.
real quick. Let's break script for a second because I'm getting some really good. We're losing people because we're getting a tad long-winded. So the trick to this is not that you're
Yes,
getting,
I know I will.
but I just want to break it up a little bit. So, Odie Johnson, I'm a recovering alcoholic with a drink in my hand. I quit coke but can't stop drinking. I'm in the right life. There's a lady here who says she had her first drink. 11 years old for me too. This is Natalie Jansen. 11 years old for me too. On my third one now, and a lot of people just have a problem. It's not until they hit extreme rock bottom. I want to hear about your rock bottom because we are
Yes,
really good on
under,
time here, but I want to kind of get
no,
to the meat and
understood.
potatoes.
Straight up. So yeah, I still my addiction is still active right now with pot. Rock bottom, right? That's what they say. You gotta let a drunk hit his rock bottom.
Okay.
Um, my sister sat me down 10 years ago when I was about to lose my family, and I had a lot of problems going on, and talked me into going to rehab. And she said, if this isn't your rock bottom, like, and so that was my rock bottom. I'd lost a job and was having problems. So
Now
that was
back
my
up.
first.
Your audio dropped out. Something I did hear on my end. You were
Oh,
saying your
uh-huh.
sister, not your fault. It's something on my end. I apologize. Your sister
No,
sat you down, and
yes.
what happened
Said,
from there?
and she said, you need to go get help. You have hit a rock bottom, and we understand that when you hit rock bottom, that's when you'll get help. And if this is not your rock bottom, Ed, I don't know what your rock bottom would look like. How much worse can it look than the way it does now? So I went into treatment,
Okay.
and got out and stayed sober for a little while and stopped doing what they told me I was supposed to do according to the big book in AA and such.
They say if you
So
fall, they said few people fail if you do what they tell you to do.
it's just suggestions, and if even I would follow the suggestions, I would not fail. it's not easy suggestions. You have to have
What?
a
Yep.
certain level of
Give me some.
humility.
Yeah. Give me some
Sure.
suggestions. What does AA tell you to do to stay sober?
Well, one thing, of course, is you read the big book every day, just because that's where the answer is, and there's a lot of knowledge in there.
Okay.
Um, we definitely suggest that you don't drink, but I know it's a big topic though with people. Is what if I'm still drinking? How can I go to an AA meeting? Well,
Oh.
that's that's my problem with even wanting to talk to you today. And I had to ask my sponsor, how can I talk about sobriety, even though I haven't had a drink now? It's been 3 months, but I smoke pot maybe.
Are you
So how
stoned? Are
can
you stoned right now? Did you have a little bit of pot before you called in? I don't care. I'm just curious.
well, and one thing you'll learn about the program is severe honesty, and it's kind of a no-no to tell a lie. And I guess that accounts even when you're on a large national talk show like this. So yes, I had to partake before, yeah, because
Yep.
I'm
I get it.
uncomfortable in my own skin,
Ted,
right? Of
Ted,
course,
if
I
you're
know.
gonna be honest, I'm gonna be honest. I'm blacked out drunk. I don't even know where I'm at right now. I'm
I
teasing.
hear you. You got the bottle I sent
No,
you.
I haven't. Knock on wood. I'm not going to drink. And I read that Unawakening in the big book on what's it, page 81. I read that every morning, and I try to meditate for a couple minutes, and I say the Serenity Prayer, and it's God help me accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that prayer, I've known that prayer my whole life. I never really knew what it meant. I never just listened to it. The wisdom to know the difference of things I can change and the things I can't change. Well, I could tear up thinking about that one. But go ahead before I lose it.
Yeah, no, it's miraculous, and that whole book really is a miracle, and that they actually understood people like me and you, and I'm going to assume, that you're one of us, and we are out of the whole group of people, only 15% of us actually have this disease of alcoholism.
Right?
I have it. I assume you have it,
Oh, I got it.
and
I got a double dose of it,
and
my friend.
yes, sir. Many of us do, and our brains are literally wired differently. I had a very hard time. People say it's a disease. I was one of the people that felt that that's a scapegoat, a cop out. So even knowing that I'm a full blown alcoholic, I don't feel comfortable saying it's a disease, because I also have lupus, which is a chronic illness. I'll
Yep.
have it for my entire life, and it's a terrible disease. But that's a disease. I have no control of that, but yet I'm stuck with it, and I can accept that. The problem with me saying that alcoholism is a disease is that I'm making choices. How can it be a disease? I'm the one that's making the choice to take a drink.
But if you don't treat it,
And
it will kill you. If you do not treat it, it will
it,
kill you.
it, that's a fact, and that's in the book there. And I think they say that if you continue to drink or do drugs, you've got three choices, three outcomes, and I believe that's a prison, death, or institution. An institution, I believe, would be like a hospital or a mental. Used to be they just put us in mental institutions, and
Right.
really the family would come visit you
Right.
until you died. And so I actually now have accepted that it really is a disease that I cannot control, just like I cannot control lupus or cancer or anything else.
Right. Right. Let me ask you this: did you have another rock bottom? Has there been
Yeah,
an?
yeah.
Okay. Let's just jump to that one.
So that's a very common thing. Many people, and when it's called a relapse, right? When we go back to drinking, and then we find another rock bottom, and we get clean and sober, and we relapse again. And so yeah, where is my rock bottom? Unfortunately, I still don't know. I'm at rock bottom right now because I'm still active in my addiction. I've lost my wife. I've lost my kids. Excuse me. I'm cutting some onions up here for dinner, so I kind of get in my eyes.
You got some onions in your eyes there, buddy?
Yes,
Well,
sir.
so wait a minute.
So,
Today's your anniversary,
yes, sir.
26 years, but you said you lost your wife and you
Well,
lost your
you
kids.
know, yes, she asked me to leave, and a few months ago, and it was my fifth last chance, and I screwed that one up, and
So
she asked me
you've
to
had
leave.
five. You had five relapses. Now let me ask you this: what? She may have saved your life. I can't imagine.
Oh, she's an angel. She's just a perfect person, and she was brave enough to make the decision that she needed to not have an addict living with her kids. So,
And this
yeah.
is mainly pot smoking.
Yes,
Along
it
with some
really is.
alcohol, or just not saying one's better than the
Well,
other. I mean, but if you're a chronic pot
no,
smoker or a chronic drinker,
yes,
she doesn't want her
for
kids
me,
around that.
correct. And when I felt really really bad, um, you talked about the allergy, and just in a nutshell, what the allergy is. It says that we're allergic to alcohol, but the way it works
You break out
is,
in
and
handcuffs. That's my favorite joke.
yes, absolutely, break out in bad behavior.
Yeah,
Yes,
break.
and and what that allergy is like for me. Here's a good example. So I haven't touched alcohol for 45 days, and I'm not going to touch it today, and I hope I don't touch it tomorrow, and I don't think I will, because I'm talking with you about this right now will help me not drink tomorrow. But if I were to pick up one beer right now and take a sip and introduce alcohol into my system, then just like a peanut allergy, as soon as you eat that peanut, you're going to start to have an allergy. You're going to get swell up in the throat. Most people, when they have the allergy, you will stop eating the friggin' peanut. Well, for us, once we
We
trip
keep them
that,
more. Yeah.
yes, once I trip the allergy, that's when the allergy happens, and the allergy is that then I cannot stop, and that means that I cannot stop after one or two drinks, or it'll be a 12 pack, but more importantly, it means now I can't stop for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to drink again, and so that's when you say it's mainly pot, but did you drink? Well, when I did drink, it would start up and it would maybe last 8 months until I went into the rehab for the second time. But alcohol, once I triggered the allergy, then yes,
You know,
I was drinking.
and it's funny. We'll once I stop, I stop, but I always fall off the wagon. My biggest thing is, how do you jumpstart your sobriety? How do you get that? Like I said, I have no problem stopping when I do stop. I mean, but for me if I drank tomorrow, I will drink nonstop every day for the next 8 months to 12 months, 8 to 12 months, and then I'll find like a health thing will happen. My wife will get mad at me. I'll fall asleep on the couch. I'll do something stupid, and, I'll burn bridges but I think once you get 1 or 2 days under your belt, you defend those sober days. This is not a cliche. When they say one day at a time, what they mean is once you get one day under your belt, the next day is actually easier than the first day, and you're proud of those 2 days. And then the third day is a little easier. So when they're saying like one day at a time, that's just not a saying. There's something to that. I promise you, if you stop drinking tomorrow and you go the full 24 hours of not drinking, you will do another day. And you get that second day, and you'll defend the hell out of those 2 days. So that's something I always want to talk about. I keep on forgetting to bring it up. So, do you have a stop date for yourself, Ted? I mean, are you going to get a couple sober days on your belt so you can kind of run with it? And how long do you have to go before your wife takes you seriously again, or is it over with between you and your wife?
That's definitely at this point. It's not my choice, or even my place to ask permission to be back part of what I lost.
Yeah.
So that'll be up to her. But
And it's going to be up to you, Ted. You gotta.
well, of course, but I've and see, I really, really own what I've done. So
Right.
I've burned the friggin' house down, Tom. I mean, to the ground, and and I've done that numerous times. So
Yeah.
I don't feel I have even the permission to ask to come back. But that's not, that's not what we're here about. It's about
Tell me,
helping, helping
what's it
somebody
gonna
else.
take for Mrs. Ted and the kids to come back? You think?
Well, my focus is actually at this point it's what's it gonna just to help me. I can't do it for them. I can't do it for anybody else, right? So
Right.
I'll die living in my new apartment that I have here, and my great friends that I've met at my new nice swimming pool. Terrible trade. I'd much rather have the family, but what's it gonna take? I'm gonna have to finally make that decision to take my last smoke. And what prevents me from doing that when I know the answer and I know how to do the program, and it's just a great experience to do it. I asked my sponsor, so why don't I do it? And I said, I think my answer is just that I'm so scared of the way I'll feel if I don't have something to self-medicate myself. I'll feel like an OCD person if you just tell them don't wash your hands, okay? Because you wash your hands 10,000 times a day. Don't do that.
Right.
Well, that won't work. Just like you can't tell an alcoholic, just don't drink. They'll sit there, even if they do it for a day, a month, a year, 25 years, like I did, with the white knuckling it. Eventually, you're gonna go back to it.
Yeah.
And
You. That's they call it a dry drunk. And there's a difference between living sober and living right. And being happy and get rid of all your insecurities and all this. I want to curse, but there's an example that you have to get with in your life, and the example requires using that of a bad word. Do you know the difference between fuck it and fuck that?
I do not.
Well, fuck it is where somebody, and guys, I apologize at home, but this is a fuck it is where you like you give up, like right where you're at right now. And then
Sure.
fuck that is like, well, God, screw that, man. I'm gonna blah blah blah. I'll get back to her, and somewhere you have to get in the middle where you're just content and you're okay and you have self confidence. And that's the thing about us alcoholics and addicts that we suffer from great insecurities, and when you live by the big book, you don't have fuck it or fuck that. You're like, yeah, you got what the fuck, and
Right.
you're so there's a difference, like going back to being a drunk or a dry drunk and being sober or a dry drunk. You can white knuckle it and you can get used to it, but are you really living a good life? Alcoholism is just a symptom of the rid, the restlessness, the irritability, the discontent. Alcohol is not the problem. You drink to deal with a problem, then that problem of drinking becomes a bigger problem than the actual problem you were trying to push behind. So, but you know what? Quitting drinking is not the problem. You got to get to the root of those problems. Earlier, like I said, a lot of times it's because of some abandonment or some kind of a trauma, or maybe it's just some way the way you're wired. You're screwed up. And my apologies to the folks at home who are watching with the F it and F that. I guess I could have said that in hindsight, but I didn't, Ted. I might have said another
No,
rock
well,
bottom, brother. I don't know.
right, right. Oh,
Right,
and
right.
and where and so where's my rock bottom? I don't know. Unfortunately, I've pushed all of my friends and family away through this process. That I've got a shovel, and unfortunately, there's really no one there that's willing to take the shovel away from me. Right.
Right.
Before, people would at least grab the shovel and say, "Dude, aren't you at the bottom?" Now, after so long and people trying and we continue to do this, it makes no sense. So I'm left with the shovel. So is this my bottom? I don't know. But
I think you could hit rock bottom with a rock on your chest, and you'll still get out of it and drink or use.
absolutely.
Any of
But
us, any of us. And I'm
well,
hoping and praying, man. This is probably my 100th time telling my wife I'm never going to drink again. But this is the first time of working the steps, reading a book, big book, meditating, I have a lot of rituals and a lot of I do work ethic at my home. I'm like, all right, guys, we are going to clean up the house. Josh, you're in the kitchen. Melanie, Melanie and Kenzie, you're on the floor. All right, I'm getting up all the dog pee and I'm doing blah blah blah. And I have routine. I have to have routine. That's what I love about doing the show. I'm here, and that's why I'm worried about Jamie because, Jamie is a recovering, alcoholic, and he's not
Sure.
here, and I'm worried about him. And um, but I know at 8 o'clock I'm going to be here going live, and this is like, I mean, it's not an AA meeting. I will go to an AA meeting. I'm doing it on Zoom right now, but this is holding me accountable that I get to come over here and talk with you, Ted, and to the ten
Sure.
thousand people who end up watching it by the end of the night, and it helps me. It holds me accountable. So it's just a routine. But where was I?
No,
My
you,
ADD kicked. As a kid, it wasn't called ADD. It's called Tommy needs a spanking. That's crazy, Ted. So,
I tell you what, and just another trait that so many of us share, and I've probably lost my train of thought 10 times while we've been talking and get off track,
right.
but that's very normal for us, especially when we're in the addiction and still using like I am. You have probably already. How long has it been since you had a drink?
This time, about a month and a half.
So that's enough time for the cobwebs to start to clear out,
Yeah.
uh, and you're starting to things are getting better for you, and you'll hear the old timers of AA. They'll tell you. Just wait, the blessings will come, and I've been there. They do come. Life will
I
just
hear that. I'm
continue
looking
to get
forward to
better.
it. I hear that, and I'm that whole
Well,
F it, and F that. I think
yeah,
I've been better off just telling people I was Republican because I've lost so many subscribers and followers. Sorry, guys.
because of that. No,
No,
understood.
I can look at my analytics right now and tell it. I'm multi-tampering here, multitasking. Well, but anyone at home who I am very, very sorry. I was just trying to make it point that this is a serious issue, and so you burnt the house down several times. You burnt it down to the ground.
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
Just meaning that I've made every mistake that a husband and father can make. I didn't go out. Didn't have affairs. Didn't go out and hang with the buddies. I came home. I just came home and did my thing. Got high in the garage and just kind of isolated myself away from the family. They did their thing, and I did mine. And I always thought that it was just me making a bad choice, and that I just hate myself so much for doing that.
Right.
But that is actually just shows the disease and how powerful it is. People, my family would think that, gosh, how could you choose a drug over your family? And it's I've learned that really, because if I have triggered the allergy, of course, and I can't stop. So I'm not trading my family. That's just a consequence of what happens when you don't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up here in a couple minutes. Let's bring it home. What else do you want? If you're just joining us, you're watching a show called Sober Talk, and I'm an alcoholic. And wow, that sounds weird saying that. I'm an alcoholic seltzer. I quit drinking a month and a half ago after having several long stints of I went 2 years of time prior to that without drinking. And we got Ted from Texas on the phone. Ted is 52 today. He's celebrating his 26th wedding anniversary without his wife and kids. He's living in an apartment and he's made some buddies at the pool, but he does not have his wife and kids. And we're here trying to cheer him up. And
Yeah.
Ted, buddy,
Well,
I got tears under this laughter, man. It's tough hearing your story, and I came out
sure.
unscathed. My wife should have kicked me out 20 times. She should have left me 20 years ago. And knock on wood, she's a better person than I'll ever be. And
Absolutely.
but
No,
I have
no.
not.
And
I've come close to burning the house down, and
well, it
literally,
will
I
tell
went
you.
to bed and left the gas stove on. and I literally drunk. I remember that, but I've made some bad decisions and driving and things like that. And we're talking the other night. If I have you had a DUI? You had one DUI that you said before you got married. Have you had one since?
No, I've got one DWI and was fortunate that I never got caught again, so to speak. But and like I said, didn't drink, but even smoking, that's still DWI material. But no, I've been very fortunate that I haven't experienced that. But a very good friend of mine just received his fourth one the other day, and so he's probably going to go to the penitentiary.
Birds of a feather flock together, brother. Get away from those guys, unless he's clean.
Yeah, but just a good guy. But these aren't thugs. These aren't bad people. These are just people that have the same little disease. That we're just normal people, and normally we're really good people.
Yeah.
We just have this one problem, and it really skews all of our behavior. And I know we're about to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I guess what I could offer to to another suffering person out there similar to myself.
Yeah. What would you tell them?
Sure, of course. First of all, put your pride down and go ahead and ask for that help if you can get into. And if you're drunk, like a severe one, like we are, if you can get into a treatment center,
or at least go get detox somewhere for 6 or 7 days, right? Just so you don't die with detoxing.
Absolutely.
And most insurance will cover that.
And if I'm being honest, I tell you what, when I actually loved rehab. They take you in there, they love you, they keep you fat and happy, they cook you great food, and you have no responsibility outside of there. You can't fix the problem that's going on. A bill collector calling, you have no. So if anybody,
you have no phone, do you? You have nothing.
Oh, you have nothing. You can't talk to a single person.
Wow.
And when you get all of that weight off of your shoulders and you stop drinking at the same time, then you start to think clearly. So my first recommendation would be if you could go there, it's like a vacation. As far as how good you will feel going there.
Camp rehab.
Just being honest. And after that, I've gone and lived in a sober living house for months as well. But anyway, so trying to.
And what part of Texas are you in?
I'm in right outside of Houston, in Katy, Texas.
Well, Ted, we're going to have you back on if you would like to come back on. And
I think what I would like to do is I think we'll get you another guest that really understands the program and that.
But I love your story. But I just love the stories. And you're when you're at the pool, are you drinking with the guys at the pool and the gals at the pool, or in your new apartment?
Because I do not drink anymore.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But they all know my story and they know I smoke. And there's some people down there that are needing some assistance from me, I think, and they've reached out and so they understand if I do bring it up to them. I don't wear this on my sleeve. I don't go around talking about being a drunk and trying to get sober. But what I find is that most alcoholics, they're very interested in how to stop. They can't stop, but man, if they see somebody that has stopped, so that would.
How did you win the lottery? How did you do that? How did you? Yeah, I see. It's like when people lose weight or whatever, Well, Ted, we are going to have you back on, or someone you may recommend. And people, when you're at home who are watching, I get a lot of texts, the emails. Email me tom@tommabe.com. Tom at TOMMAB as in boy E, Mabe. And or just email me here on this Facebook page. If you have a story you want to come live, it's very therapeutic for me, and the people who listen and watch, it's therapeutic for them as well. And maybe, who knows, you can help save someone's life. Ted, I'm gonna let you go, brother.
Tom, thank you. You are truly doing God's work. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished by not drinking, but more so that you're actually trying to help another suffering alcoholic like me, and you've helped me immensely. You have no idea.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Big round of applause for Ted. Ted. Woo! Alcoholic Ted. Pothead Ted. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go find Jamie. I'm really, really worried about him. And like I say, he's got that new car, and I hope he didn't wreck. All right, we'll talk to you soon.